I literally, and I remember once playing for the school in a cup final, and where one of our studios was in on the A10 on the North Cirque, I went past our studio and I saw 2 meat wagons outside, and we was about to get raided. So I was really tight with the guy that ran it because I was like his right hand man from a young age. And I'm like, John, old Biller outside the studio. So he's running the studio. He's like, the old Biller outside, take the decks. And it's like, yeah, it was very, I look back at it, and obviously I was young, I was quite naive, and it's like, yeah, we're breaking the law here and putting on aerials and stuff, but I wouldn't change it. I call it my apprenticeship almost. It was, and I'm glad I did it, because when I'm in that situation of like with legal radio, it's a walk in the park, because I've done pirate for so long when I was a kid. So I love it, and the pirate radio thing was a massive community thing, man. It was they always try to bastardize it and say it's involved in guns and gangs and drugs and that. Yeah, there was an element of that in some stations, like there was some dodgy people involved, but the majority, everyone just did it for the love of music, and if it wasn't for pirate radio, we wouldn't have a lot of the big names that we know and love today. So yeah, I'm a proud pirate, man.
Yeah. Good stuff. So you said you're a music producer,
yes.
And you'd like to do a bit of remixing and collaborations, and you've got a tune out at the moment. So do you want to tell us a bit about the tune that you've got out at the moment that you've been promoting today and all around?
It's pretty crazy. I've got a track out with Boney M, which is mad. Like, it's an actual collaboration with them. It's
how'd that come about?
So basically, TikTok is like the biggest social media platform right now. All the kids are on it, and I never wanted to go on it. I'm 34 with 2 kids. I do not want to be on fucking TikTok, but I'm signed to Ministry of Sound, and they're like, listen, Madge, you need to be on TikTok. Do this. Look, you're funny. You're this, that. Like, do it. Go on there. Grow the audience, because it's a very important thing. So I'm on TikTok, just scrolling through, and there's so many weird and different videos on there. Anyway, I kept hearing Rasputin by Boney M coming up. I'm like, why does this keep coming up on so many things? And I looked, and there'd been 1.2 million different videos using that sound. And that is a big thing on TikTok. If people keep using the same sound, it normally goes viral, and everyone's on it.
So it trends for...
Yeah, it
Boney M, we done Daddy Cool.
Say again, mate?
Boney M, that done Daddy Cool.
That's right. They did Daddy Cool, Rivers of Babylon.
They were massive. They were huge.
Mate, unbelievably good.
Yeah.
German. They were a German disco outfit, and the actual producer, Frank Farian, was the voice behind it. The guy that fronted it, he wasn't the voice. It was actually the producer. And this same producer, Frank Farian, is the same guy behind Milli Vanilli, obviously, which was the controversy of the Grammys.
Really?
Yeah, so he's always loved a frontman that doesn't necessarily sing. So, so I literally just, because, the vibe of the tune, it's because it's disco, it's like this would lend itself really nice to like a house reworking. And obviously, if you look at tracks like Stardust, yeah, exactly. So Stardust, Music Sounds Better, is a Shaka Khan sample. Like Armand Van Helden's You Don't Know Me is another old disco record sample. So it is a very big part of, electronic music, like sampling stuff.
There was some reggae in there as well, weren't they, with Boney M? Yeah,
they had that sort of crossover between disco with the West Indian influence as well. It was, it was a whole sort of melting pot of stuff. In actual fact, at the time, they were considered quite a cheesy outfit, really. It's like, Euro pop. But as time has gone on and you listen to the record, it kind of, they stand the test of time a little bit. Actually, the production on this is shit hot. Do you know what I mean? Like, from a music production point of view, even stuff like, even for me, when you listen back to some of the 80s stuff that Pete Waterman did as Waterman and Aitken, like with Mel and Kim and stuff, the bass lines on them, they're really gritty. And I'm like, wow, this would lend itself to some tech house. Like, it's pretty cool. I'm a proper music geek. Do you know what I mean? I play guitar, piano. I used to be in a band. In actual fact, the band I was in at school, I don't know if you guys have seen the Netflix program Bridgerton, right?
Not yet. I've got it on my list, yeah.
So everyone's been talking about this program. The guy that's the lead in it is like the hottest guy in the world right now. Like, he hosted Saturday Night Live.
I will watch it.
Yeah, and like he basically joined my band, and now he's like this Hollywood superstar. It's mad.
Wow.
Like, I was sitting there the other day and I was watching Graham Norton. And there's me thinking I'm all good because I was on Sunday brunch the weekend. Just gone. I'm like, yeah, I'm the most famous guy from my school now. This guy's sitting on Graham Norton. He's like a Hollywood superstar. I'm like, what the? It's reggae. Like, what's he doing? Like, what's going on? And I was ringing my mates, going, when did reggae become a superstar, bruv? Like,
it's so hard to make it in music, though, isn't it?
Say again, Stace?
It's so hard to make it in music.
listen, I say this to people all the time. It's no different to football, right? And, you know, you'll always have, when you were younger, a few mates and you used to play ball. Someone got scouted. Most people have someone that got scouted when they were kids or got scouted themselves. Or, you know, it's so hard to then turn that and go to the next level. And it's just been, for me, like complete consistency, non-stop. And, you know, almost sacrificing like a lot of years of stuff. Like when my boys were going away and doing things, going to Thailand, traveling and all that, I was broke. Do you know what I mean? Like I had no money to do it because all I did was music. So you have to live a certain way for a few years to it's like that quote about being an entrepreneur. You have to live a few years in a way that people wouldn't, to live a lifetime that people can't. Which is quite an inspiring quote.
Yeah, you have to do things that other people don't like. Yeah.
So tell us about your son. Sorry, Stace. Tell us about your Sunday brunch appearance, because that's kind of where you came to. Well, certainly to my wife's attention, where she kept saying, "Oh, this guy, he's a Spurs fan. You should get him on your podcast. Get him on your podcast." and then and she seems to like. I don't know if I don't know if she's actually stalking you or not, but that Sunday brunch song, he's done a song for Sunday brunch. I'm sure he's done a song for Sunday brunch. And then we watched it the other day, and there was like this song on it. So that's the song. He did that.
Yeah. So when I went on to Sunday brunch, which was at end of January, they said to me, "Oh, would you be up for giving a remix of our theme tune? Would you give it a go?" I was like, "Yeah, cool." And where I'm really competitive, I looked, and Jax Jones, who's like a big house producer, he did one like live on the show. I was like, yeah, I've got to be better than that. I have to be better. So I was like, I went in and basically wrote a song around their theme tune, and like I'd done it, and they were like, "This is amazing. Can we use it all the time?" I'm like, "Yeah, cool. I don't care. Like, it's fine. I've done it in a day. Have it. It's fine." And So yeah, that appearance was really good, and obviously with Lovejoy being obviously from Soccer AM and like legendary, like Tim Lovejoy's, you know, when it comes to 90s culture and Soccer AM, he's a legend, man. Even though he's Chelsea, yeah, he's big Chelsea as well. We had him on our Same Old Spurs podcast, and he as a preview for the Chelsea game, and he got out his framed ribbons of the Premier League trophy. He's got, and he was proper mugging us off. It was good. It's good banter, but it was good on there. And Lovejoy, bless him, he gave a massive shout out for our podcast and a massive plug on Channel 4 like, on Sunday morning, which was amazing. Do you know what I mean? So I really appreciated him doing that, and yeah, it was great. Just obviously done a bit of Sky Sports news stuff recently, and I'm doing a lot of stuff with Talk Sport at the minute on there on Thursday, actually after the Dynamo Zagreb game, doing an hour. Post match, which is good. It's just nice to have a bit of representation for Tottenham, like because I feel like when you watch Sky Sports, you know, they often feel like Jamie Redknapp's a representation of us. I'm like, no, bruv, like, that guy is not repping me, bro. Like, no way. Like, and I'm like, yeah, you played for us, and you was actually our captain. Like,
unbelievably.
Unbelievably. That's where we was at the time. It's just like, no, you don't represent Spurs. Like, so even when I saw Michael Dawson there yesterday, I was like, no, at least Dawson's there. Like, he was a proper Spurs man. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and I've got to big up JJ as well. Jermaine is like, he's such a legend. You know, I've done some bits with JJ, and like he reps hard for us. And people actually forget that Genus was like at our club the longest of any of his career. So he is Spurs. And I think even with him, like sometimes we don't look at his contributions to what he done. Scored in some big games when it comes to like the Carling Cup run we was in.
When we beat Arsenal, we scored, and that was
the 5-1. The
banging game. That was unbelievable being there weeknight. It was awesome.
So, what kind of conversation you had with him? Because JJ for me, like, done stuff for us, but I always felt that he was going to be our Steven Gerrard. I felt that he had the ability to be Steven Gerrard, to be Frank Lampard, you know, and just didn't. I don't know if it's just because of the club, but just didn't quite get there.
It wasn't consistent enough.
Didn't push us to the levels he could have done because of I don't know what. But he had all the attributes for me to be that box-to-box midfielder that was going to be scoring goals.
100%. And I remember at the time there was one crazy stat. There was like his pass completion was like the best in Europe up against Iniesta's. There was one season that it was like he had an absolute blinder of a season. It's just. We just seem to be unfortunate with those players, don't we? That should be the next best thing. Like when we bought in David Bentley, there was talk of him being the next Beckham. What was he? 16 million at the time.
Yeah.
It was. They were. we've been unlucky with a lot of signings, really. Like, you think of it when we spent that Bell money, obviously with hindsight, it's like, what a horrendous spend of money that was. But Paulinho was coming at the back of, like, this is Brazilian international, who ended up playing for Barcelona.
I know.
They probably signed the wrong guy. They thought, like, we're getting we're getting an Eno. No, it's Paulinho.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And obviously Ericsson was in that group, which was a fantastic buy. But Lamela, Soldado, who else was in there? Capoue. I think Chiriches was in there as well.
Yeah.
It was just shocking, wasn't it? And like, we always seem to I think like sometimes Spurs' recruitment's been from wish.co.uk or something. You get the wrong item. It's like,
what's going on with this wish.co.uk? Because my son keeps banging on about this at the moment. It's like, well, you wanted who is it he was going on about? There was some guy, this Swiss guy that was playing, and he was saying that he was the wish version of Shaqiri. I don't know I can't remember who he was, but he was like some Illich or something like that. But he was like, you wanted Shaqiri, but you bought him from Wish and got this guy instead.
Yeah, so basically, I think they must have a track record of like giving out some dodgy like purchases. Like, for example, I saw the best meme this morning. It was Gary Doherty's head on the Doherty signing, holding up number 2. It's like when you thought you bought Matt Doherty, you get this. It was like, I said yesterday.
Who's done that?
I don't know. Maybe I said on our podcast yesterday, I tell you what, I don't ever want to see Doherty's name on that team sheet again unless it's Gary Doherty. That's where I'm at with it. So, but with back to JJ, it's like, I don't know whether it was injuries. Obviously, he retired very early. And he could have been that player because he did have the attributes. But again, one of those players that did love to score a goal against Arsenal. Like you said, you mentioned, Stace, that 5-1, which was an absolute rampant night at White Hart Lane. The previous game, though, I think we drew 1-1 at the Emirates, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I think JJ scored in that. And because I remember that was my 21st birthday. So check this, yeah? It's my 21st birthday. So check this. This is a great story. On my 21st birthday, my missus is like, I've got you a surprise. I'm like, Spurs Arsenal at the Emirates, please, yes. I've got you tickets. And I'm like, 21st, you've done it. You pulled it out of the bag. Yeah, I've got you tickets to see Phantom of the Opera. I'm like, babe, Spurs are playing Arsenal tonight. No, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, we're going to the theatre. I'm like, listen, I do like the theatre, but Spurs are playing Arsenal. What? And I remember falling asleep in Phantom of the Opera and leaving halfway, and then getting home to watch the rest of the game. So yeah, she got the wrong tickets. But yeah, that was
Right, good stuff.
Exactly that.
Good stuff. So we've got a few questions. Twitter questions, and then we'll finish off with our last orders. So first question comes from Kev Green at Kev G1. 16 months into the Jose rebuild, what's changed? Is there any direction you see the team going in? Is that mob down the road better in the long term with their project manager? Big up from Kev. So who wants to take that? Andy, I'll let you start. I'll let you answer that one, mate.
I still think with every manager you have to give them time and transfer windows. So hopefully Jose can have a good transfer window. I know there might not be much money around, but hopefully he can. And next season he gets the players that we need, and we go on and do what can be possible under Mourinho.
The low block, he will master the low block, and we will have the players to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, good. We've done Brendan's one already. We've got one from the caller, Cheese Room OC. Again, so this is he says, "Sup, Madge? Does Bale get a second season in an Alan Partridge style?"
That made me laugh when I saw that on Twitter, because it's like the idea of Bale moving like Partridge, going to Levy. Do I get a second season? Smell my cheese! Give me a second season, you mother! Like, imagine Bale doing that. But
nice 600k.
Oh no, give me 600k and a Rover.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, Jurassic Park. Bale, for me, second season 100%. Just for the few games that we've seen him look incredible. Listen. people get it so twisted. Yeah, cool. You're getting 600 bags a week. It's a lot of money. But when you've earned that amount of money, money doesn't mean anything. So you can still lose confidence. You can still lose energy in that. When people talk to me about that, like, yeah, but he's getting 600 grand a week. He should be